Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined by the Bee and the Bang, Bernard Dineen. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Just back to work tomorrow, but we'll get this out of the way, and then I'll go and sulk in the bedroom before I have to have an early night.
Oh dear me, yeah, guys, we're going to do a video about the preview for the game against Nottingham Forest this weekend, and I said Nottingham because fans.
Well, you can't say knots, can you? They get
Can't
all
say
upset, don't they?
Oh, you get some very riled up. But guys, before we get into that, I'm going to ask you. I never do this normally. Can you subscribe to the channel if you're new? And if you can give us a thumbs up and a like and hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. Never do that at the start. It's always at the end of the video. And I realized if you do a 20-minute video, you drop people along the way. So get it out nice and early. Game against Forest. Obviously, we're going to look at a little bit about City first. Who's on top of the table? Manchester City. 5 games, 5 wins. Fantastic. As Pep said in his press conference after the win against whoever we played the other day, Red Star Belgrade last night, we are struggling a little bit with injuries, with 5 main players out. That's Kovacic, Johnny Stones, we've got KDB out, we've got Big Jack Grealish out, and I can't remember the 5th one. You'll tell me who that is. Go on, tell me who the 5th one is.
Go on, you do it. I'm making you suffer. Go on.
Bernardo Silva, because he got injured last night. Tell you what, you made me work hard for that. None of them are going to be back for this game against Forest, so we can forget about them. We'll have a good first team out. I'm pretty sure of that. Not so strong bench because we only had 6 outfield players yesterday to keep the bench. Any of that worry you, or are we just
not really? I mean, obviously the starting 11's good enough. Of course, certainly it's good enough. Even though we'll talk about Forest in a minute, who've I think are an improvement on last season. Obviously they struggled early doors, but I think this season they'll be fine. But no, our starting 11. I mean, looking at the bench, I did put on when I did my little preview I've been putting together today. It's going to be a bit of a dodgy bench in theory, but I don't worry too much. The first team, as long as everyone stays fit, we should be fine.
Yeah, so we've had a good start. Forest have had a good start. That's quite surprising, They did the old trick where last season they bought a ton of players and eventually managed to integrate it and come out surviving that season. They bought a fair few players this summer as well. But they've had a good start. 5 games. Is it 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 defeats? 7 goals scored, 7 goals conceded. And they're not in 7th, but they're doing well in the table. They're, I think, 8th in the table on 7 points, above teams like Newcastle, Manchester United, and Chelsea. Are you expecting big things from Nottingham Forest this season, or is this as good as it's going to get for them?
Not big things, mate, but we know. I mean, last year it was a home form that sort of rescued them. They've already nicked a win at Chelsea, which was really nicking a win. They were really. I think Chelsea had 30-odd shots or something, a lot of shots anyway, and I say they were sort of lucky to get there. I think that was only the 2nd game they've won in the last, this season, last season. I think that was the only 2nd away game they've won. Yeah. So I'm hoping that will not go on to against us into the 3rd game that they've won away from home. But they're playing well. I mean, Burnley, they were a little bit lucky. They had a bit of a VAR incident that went their way, but no surprise there. So old Vincent was denied perhaps 3 points the other day. So they're riding the luck, but they're not losing by more than 1 goal. And as I think off air we talked all right, United aren't setting the world alight, but they were very unlucky to lose at Old Trafford as well. So. Yeah, they'll give it. I think they're giving it a go. They're not frightened. They're not away from home. They do get men behind the ball, but they're not frightened of having a go as well. And that's what I like about it. They're being brave early doors, which all right, it's not the first season in the Premier League, but you'd think after last season they were a bit more cagey. But he's not doing that. He's improved the squad. I think he's having a go, and why not? And it's paying off at the moment.
Yeah, that fella up front for them, a 1 a year. I think that's his name. He scored a hatful of goals already this season. I think he got an assist the other day, last game, where he assisted Hudson-Odoi. I mean, we're going to talk about Awoniyi, but let's quickly mention Hudson-Odoi. I mean, it wasn't more than probably 4 seasons ago, 4 or 5 years, that Bayern Munich wanted to pay 40 million quid for him, and Chelsea wouldn't let him go. And now they let him go for a knockdown fee. I don't even think it was 10 million quid. It's ridiculous. And it'd be interesting to see if he can fulfill his potential. But he scored a screamer the other night, didn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing, I think the thing with Forest is obviously, as you say, you look at someone like Hudson-Odoi. I mean, Chelsea, you can get these bargains who've got a lot of potential, and he's a big fish at Forest, and this is it. And it become important to teams. Players like Hudson-Odoi are just, part of a squad somewhere else, and that's all they are. Then all of a sudden, they're thrust into a team like Forest, who, have got the history. They want to improve and be big again and win things again. And it's the sort of, you could tell that the board and they're spending the money to try and do that a little bit. A lot of clubs don't. A lot of like Leeds United, they get into that position where they can improve themselves, and they don't. But I think Forest have got the ambition still, as twice European Cup winners. More than us even. They've got that ambition to do it again. And people like Hudson-Odoi, this new guy they've got, the big fish in a little pond, and they want to stand out, and that means they'll play the best. And all right, there might be something. I don't know what Hudson-Odoi is. He's not a young lad, is he?
No.
Now, so it's not as though they're going to move on somewhere else. But why not get the plaudits, get the glory at a team like Forest, who've got great history and are still, European-wise, people still recognise them as well. So it's a great place to be for that sort of player, to reinvigorate himself and obviously help Forest, and that's what's happening so far.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi is only 22 still, but he's
right, okay, well, there you go. I mean, I'm not saying too much, but obviously he still thinks he's perhaps got another big move in him at some stage.
He has. Because I mean, obviously he came through at Chelsea 5 years ago. He had that loan move to Bayer Leverkusen, 14 games, no goals.
I mean, they had a lot of young, cracking young players, didn't they, 4 or 5 years ago, Chelsea? And you sort of forget all that, don't you? Yeah. With what's happened recently. But these guys are still there knocking around. And as you say, Hudson-Odoi, they get lost in the ether. But I mean, they're all the young lads. They were great potential. It just never came out with the way Chelsea cocked it up and messed it up.
I mean, Bayern Munich weren't offering 40 million just on potential. They saw more than that.
Well, they don't spend that sort of money, do they? They're not big spenders, never have been. They like to get things on the cheap. But as you said, they wouldn't have offered that sort of money unless they saw something in him.
Yeah, Cooper's providing width at the moment with, he's got from the fullbacks or the wing backs, but they've got some really great exciting attacking players. They've got the aforementioned Awoniyi, who's finished last season well, started this season well. Morgan Gibbs-White, who I quite like. I don't think he's destined for the top level, but he's a good player. They got the Elanga from United and Hudson-Odoi. So, they've got the attacking threat. It's just making sure. One of the big problems last season, especially away from home, was keeping clean sheets. But, it's going to be interesting because Steve Cooper, the manager, he's going to have to get that balance between the potential that they've got in attack and making sure they keep the door closed at the back, that balance was where he struggled last season.
Yeah, I think they've done better. I mean, in the games they've played in the Premier League, I think they've accomplished that to some extent, and you can still see the attacking flair and the want to get up as well, get up and attack, which is what they're doing. So, I'm not worried about. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I mean, let's face it. That team City got to put out against Forest should be good enough. I mean, we should be good enough to do it. I mean, it's a brilliant team. We're not going to win. I don't think we'll win 6-0 as we did last season. No. That was a bit embarrassing for poor Forest. But I am predicting 3 or 4 goals. I'm predicting a 4-0 myself.
Yeah.
I just like the way they're doing things, and I'm not a big fan of the Cooper, the manager particularly, but I think there's little signs there that he's had a word with his board. His board had been sort of behind him. He was obviously under threat, wasn't he, for a lot of last season.
Yeah.
And at the
Well,
moment,
no, but they give him that massive contract. They give him something like a 6-year contract when they had a really poor start to the season. And it's like, if that's not backing your manager, what else is?
Absolutely. I mean, it was the media and the fans perhaps were getting at him a little bit, but the board would be behind him. That's how it should be.
And that's it. It's like when you do that, it cuts everything out, because what you can't really go then in a press conference and ask him about his position, because he's just got a 6-year contract or whatever. Yeah. Same like Bernardo Silva. He signed this contract extension. You've never heard, apart from on this channel, anybody talking about Bernardo Silva leaving. It's important to do this kind of thing. So going back to City, I mean, what do you think our form's like? Yes, we've won all these games, but have you seen an improvement in our performances since the start of the season?
Yeah. I thought the last 2 games, I think West Ham and Belgrade. All right, we have criticism about the chances. Was it 60 odd chances we created in those 2 games? All right, we scored 6 goals, 1 in 10. Not the greatest stats, but that doesn't matter. I think the fact that we're down not to the bare bones, we've still got a little bit of cover there. Has inspired certain players to hit the ground running. All the new signings have had to hit the ground running. Even Nunes now, obviously Doku. They're having to sort of pull the weight very quickly. They're not allowed to settle down, and they are doing so because the season. They're not youngsters, as you say. As the seasoned professionals, Nunes has been around. He's an international. Doku's still a young lad, but he thrives on his energy, and obviously joining a club like City, you can just feel it in him that he wants to do it. And fortunately, no one's bedding in at the moment. They all seem to be settling down, and even players like Gomez are coming into the side and producing some good stuff. And I personally think I was a bit worried the first 5 or 6 games at the end of the season. We weren't quite at it. We were winning games. But I feel we're at it now. And obviously, as the injury, hopefully the injuries will ease off. But I think there's a lot of, we're always worried, didn't we? After winning the treble, you'd always worry about what's going to happen. But I think bringing these new players in has got the momentum again now. And finally, these last couple of games, even though, as I said, we could do with putting a ball in the net a few more times, that could come back to sting us in the bum in big games like Arsenal, where we have to make sure we score when we get the opportunity. Yeah. But it's just great to see. I think it's a vast improvement just since the international break. I think we've seen a big improvement in City.
Yeah, and I totally agree, Bernard. Where the West Ham and the Red Star games, we let a goal in. We were struggling at half time, but we were creating lots of chances. And you feel it's only a matter of time. Once we score, we will go on and keep scoring, which is what we did in each of those games. Having said that, it would be nice to score first for a change and then go on from there. Rather, we've been.
And Mr. Walker's now he's captain. Now he's officially captain, isn't he? I think they've decided that, haven't they? Last night, whether I just saw it because I know he's captain, but he was shouting at players. He was shouting at the other guys. He was telling them to get lost, back. But I mean, it was just a totally different. We've seen that sort of energy from him this season anyway. Yeah. But obviously now he's been confirmed as captain. He's going up a little bit of a level, which he's this hill you talk about when they get to a plateau. He's like Walker's gone up a little bit more, and it's been helped, and it's passing through the team. I think
it's like he's having a double bounce. And the double bounces out Walker. But so no, that's it's a positive thing, and there will be. I don't mind it being this weekend. I'd like it to be the 8th of October when we play Arsenal, but there will be a team that will spank because I've whinged a little bit about Haaland in the last couple of games where he's had the chances. The game against West Ham where he had 2 tap-ins and he missed the target on one of them and a weak shot on the other, and he had a couple of other chances where the goalkeeper made reasonable saves. I can't blame him. And last night, and there will come a time where he will get another hat-trick. He hasn't had a hat-trick for a little while, so I think we'll spike. What's that?
Fulham won it last time.
All right, sorry.
3 games ago.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. He hadn't scored a hat-trick for 2 games. Come on, what's he doing? He got 6 hat-tricks last season, didn't he? You know, I forgot about that. Yeah, but I want it to be against a good team. I want him to start scoring, taking these chances against better teams, because against West Ham, against Red Star, with all due respect to them, you know, we were far stronger than they were. And we stood a good chance of scoring. And like you say, you play against Liverpool or Spurs or Arsenal, you miss 2 or 3 chances. That might be the only 2 or 3 chances you get. So hopefully we'll sort that out. So I'm going to drag a score prediction out of you, Bernard. I think you're going to talk about a spanking for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it before. I was thinking 3 or 4, but I'm going to go 4-0. I think we do a clean sheet. Mozza, old Andy Morrison's gone for 5-1, so he's not as confident as me. But Edison's on fire. The only problem we got, with respect to Forest, I think they might score 1, but I'm trying to be nice to City and say, yeah, let's keep a clean sheet and let's win 4-0. But a 5-1 for Morrison prediction's interesting, but I'll go 4-0.
Yeah, the arrogant me wants to say 6-1. The arrogant me, but I think that's doing them a disservice. Yeah, look, we could easily.
Yeah, I mean, the bookies, the favourite scores with most people. The bookies is 2-0 and 3-0. So you know, they're playing due respect to Forest. I think the fact of how they are playing this season.
But I also think there's that issue where we've got so many injuries, 5 players out. We can't ill afford another injury. So again, I think if we can get that comfortable lead, like we saw yesterday, 3-1 up, Pep rang the changes. Yeah. And I can see us doing something similar. So, you know, that's why I think a 3-0 sounds right. But I'm going to go 3-1. You know, I've said I got that the game against West Ham, right? I got that as 3-1. I think you did too. Last night I said 3-1. Sorry, I said 3-0 last night, didn't I? 3-0. I think we shouldn't have let them score. But anyway, it is what it is now. But I will go 3-1 again. I think even though generally we've been solid in defence and creating a lot of chances, we have let, you know.
Yeah, they've got, and as we said, we've already mentioned the names there, haven't we? They've got players up front who can punish us on that little bit of pace. You know, if we, you know, as I say, without Walker, we do lack a little bit of pace at the back. You know, I'd love another. It's too late now, but I'd love a defender with a little bit more pace rather than Walker as well. You know.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, mate. Well, there you have it, guys. Man City versus Nottingham Forest, double European champions. So there will be, trust me, they'll be reminding us of that. They'll have had to change their previous song because, like, Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. So that's out the window. They will be changing that, but I think they will be mentioning the fact that they've won it twice. We've only won it once, and that.
I think we can mention a few league titles, a few FA Cups, a few League Cups that they've not won. So I think we can sort of get away with it.
We'll get away with it, but they'll definitely mention the 115 charges.
I don't think they ever won the Cup Winners' Cup, did they? So there's another European trophy they never won. So hey, they'll be pushing it to claim anything special, mate.
Yeah, but the other thing is we'll only have 3,000 fans there, so they probably will hang us out if we try and give them some stick. But anyway, guys, fantastic to have Bernard on and do this preview with me for the game against Nottingham Forest this weekend. Sadly, I won't be there. Sadly for me, I'm off to work, and probably won't even see. Is it a 3:00 kickoff?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and catch half the game, I think, because I'm on stage somewhere in Northern Ireland, so I'll try and catch that game and then watch it in the evening and report back to you guys. I think I'll have to watch some highlights on that. But anyway, there you go. Fingers crossed, City get no more injuries. That's what we want, no more injuries. And Bernard's predicting a comfortable win. I'm predicting a win, and I hope that's the way it goes. So thank you all for watching. If you stay to the end, thumbs up to you. And if you can subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out, and give us a thumbs up. We'll be very, very grateful. We'll see you around, Blues.